Let's try. Let's see how far we can get on this real quick. Alright, it's live. It is live. I got soap in my fingers still. Let's see, chaos. Let's see if they got that thing.
Sleeping with his best friend's fiance on the day of your wedding, I would fucking riot. But do you want to know what she did? She ran straight into the arms of his brother. Revenge has never tasted so good. Chaos by Luna Mason. This is the first book in the Beneath the Secret series. It's a mafia romance. This book contains some dark themes and spices
Awesome freaks,
sweating
boy.
like war in church. Beautiful. The story.
These people are some freaks, boy.
Revisiting Windows Forensics. In the Windows Forensics 1 and Windows Forensics 2 rooms, we learned about the different artifacts which store information about a user's activity on a system. We also learned where those artifacts are located and how they can be accessed and interpreted. However, we did all that manually. In many cases, a forensic investigator doesn't have the luxury to perform manual analysis, which can be time-consuming. In such scenarios, it is helpful to have some tools help in automating the evidence collection, sanitization, and processing part. Learning objectives. In this room, we will learn about KAPE, how KAPE works, the different targets and modules used by KAPE, collection and analysis of forensic data using KAPE.
Triage tool, digital forensic instance response.
Introduction to KAPE, Kroll Artifact Parser and Extractor, KAPE, parses and extracts Windows forensics artifacts. It is a tool that can significantly reduce the time needed to respond to an incident by providing forensic artifacts from a live system or a storage device much earlier than the imaging process completes. KAPE serves two primary purposes. 1. Collect files, and 2. Process the collected files as per the provided options. For achieving these purposes, KAPE uses the concept of targets and modules. Targets can be defined as the forensic artifacts that need to be collected. Modules are programs that process the collected artifacts and extract information from them.
Targets can be defined as forensic artifacts that need to be collected. Modules are programs that process.
Learn about them in the upcoming tasks. How it works. KAPE is extensible and highly configurable. In essence, the KAPE binary collects files and processes them as per the provided configuration. The collection of files, targets, KAPE adds the files to a queue and copies them in 2 passes. In the first pass, it copies the files that it can. This works for files that the OS has not locked. The rest of the files are passed to a secondary queue. The secondary queue is processed using a different technique that uses raw disk reads to bypass the OS locks and copy the files.
That's fucking cool.
The copied files are saved with original timestamps and metadata and stored in a similar directory structure. Once the data is collected, KAPE can process it using modules. The modules can be independent binaries that run on the collected data and process them to extract information. For example, KAPE will collect and copy the prefetch.
He needs to go pee. My son always, I gotta remind him to go pee before he goes to bed, so he don't pee the damn bed.
File to our target destination during the target collection. Running a prefetch parser, PECMD, module on this target will extract the prefetch.
Hey, you better wash your hands better than that. Hey. Wash your hands better than that.
Once the data is collected, KAPE can process it using modules. The modules can be independent binaries that run on the collected data and process them to extract information. For example, KAPE will collect and copy the prefetch file to our target destination during the target collection. Running a prefetch parser, PECMD, module on this target will extract the prefetch file and save it in a CSV file.
Source.
As the above image shows, KAPE can extract targets from a live system, a mounted image, or the F-response utility.
What is the F-response utility?
KAPE does not need to be installed. It is portable and can be used from network locations or USB drives. To proceed further, click the Start Machine button on the top right.
KAPE. Is it running? Is it loading or what am I? It must be slow. Oh, it finally loaded. Damn, AC finally kicked off. It took that long to get to fucking 70 degrees. Modules, targets. targets and specify what data to collect. I'll just tell you how you want to collect it. Easy tools, okay. There's no internet.
In KAPE's lexicon, targets are the artifacts that need to be collected.
What is a lexicon? Oh my god, you motherfucker. A lexicon refers to how the tool defines.
From a system or image and copied to our provided destination. For example, as we learned in the last room, Windows prefetch is a forensic artifact for evidence of execution so that we can create a target for it. Similarly, we can also create targets for the registry hives. In short, targets copy files from one place to another. When we open the targets directory of KAPE, this is what we will see.
That's what we want to copy.
The last 4 files at the bottom are guides and templates to create targets and compound targets of our own. We will discuss compound targets later in this task. As you can see, the targets are grouped into different directories. Let's check out the Windows directory to see what we have.
I forgot what WSA and WSL is.
We can see different .tcape extension files. This is how a target is defined for KAPE. A tcape file contains information about the artifact that we want to collect, such as the path, category, and file masks to collect. As an example, below is how the prefetch target is defined.
That's cool.
This tcape file tells KAPE to collect files with the file mask star.pf from the path c:\windows\prefetch and c:\windows.old\prefetch. Notice that we have the c:\windows
I don't see the prefetch yet.
Binaries are going to be in syswow.
Oh. Are prefetch files stored in the RAM? So they are stored on the hard drive.
64. Because that mentioned earlier. As expected, we have numerous
Notice that we have the c:\windows.old path listed here as well. This path contains files retained after Windows has updated to a new version. For forensic analysis, we can also find interesting historical artifacts from this directory. Compound targets, KAPE also supports compound targets. These are targets that are compounds of multiple other targets. Compound targets, KAPE also supports compound targets. These are targets that are compounds of multiple other targets. As mentioned in the previous tasks, KAPE is often used for quick triage collection and analysis. The purpose of KAPE will not be fulfilled if we have to collect each artifact individually. Therefore, compound targets help us collect multiple targets by giving a single command. Examples of compound targets include basic collection, sense_triage and KAPE triage. We can view the compound targets on the path KAPE \targets\compound. The following image shows what a compound target for evidence of execution looks like. The above compound target will collect evidence of execution from prefetch.
Shows what a compound target for evidence. What is that at? Oh, that's what that is. I'm getting hungry. Damn it.
The above compound target will collect evidence of execution from prefetch, recent file cache, mcache, and syscape targets. Disabled. This directory contains targets that you want to keep in the KAPE instance, but you don't want them to appear in the active targets list. Local. If you have created some targets that you don't want to sync with the KAPE GitHub repository, you can place them in this directory. These can be targets that are specific to your environment. Similarly, anything not present in the GitHub repository when we update KAPE will be moved to the local directory.
What, TK?
Modules, in KAPE's lexicon, run specific tools against the provided set of files. Their goal is not to copy files from one place to another but rather run some command and store the output. Generally, the output is in the form of CSV or text files. This is what the modules directory looks like in KAPE.
Compound. What is a B string now?
Similar to the previous task, we see guides and templates for creating modules and compound modules. We also see the disabled, local and compound directories, which are similar to what we saw in the previous task. We will not discuss these again, as we discussed them in the last task. We see that most of the modules are grouped together in different directories. One thing we find different is the bin directory. We will discuss that in a bit. For now, let's open the Windows directory and see what we have there.
That's one way. So targets is the files you want to get, modules are the way you get the targets.
Here we see files with the .gape extension. These are understood as modules by KAPE. Let's open an gape file and see how it is structured. The following image shows the Windows_IP protocol configuration gape file.
Is that a thing?
Notice that the KAPE file tells KAPE about the executable that has to be run, the command line parameters of the executable file, the output export format, and the file name to export to. But what if the executable that we want to run is not present on the system? This brings us to the bin directory. The bin directory contains executables that we want to run on the system but are not natively present on most systems. KAPE will run executables either from the bin directory or the complete path. An example of files to be kept in the bin directory are Eric Zimmerman's tools, which are generally not present on a Windows system. We use them extensively in the Windows forensics rooms.
Okay. Bin. Alright, I'm hungry. I think I'm done. I got half of it done. Well, at least I got like half of it done. Where's fishing at? Oh, fishing's the next one. Alright guys, I'm done. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.